Well, it's episodes like this that remind me that Game of Thrones really is the greatest show on television. I'm saying it. You know, the good thing about being an entertainment reviewer on YouTube is really your cup runneth over. You never stop having things to talk about. And I have been constantly busy this last weekend with videos, and I wasn't even planning on a Game of Thrones recap. But this episode happened, and this episode was really freaking awesome, and I have to talk about it. Before I get into this episode review, just keep in mind there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen this episode, then I would turn this off. Now, there are two types of Game of Thrones episodes in my mind, or two types of great episodes. One is the Game of Thrones episode like The Red Wedding or The Rains of Kashmir that is just completely shocking and guts you, to the core, and everybody's talking about it. And then you got another episode that is just completely balls to the wall action on a cinematic level. It transcends television, like Hard Home. Well, that's what Battle of the Bastards is. And if you looked at the previews from last week's episode, you knew that this was going to be the episode about Ramsay and Jon Snow, the big showdown. And boy, did they deliver. But first, let's talk about Westeros and the siege of Meereen. And Daenerys and Tyrion, they are having differences about the way ahead. Tyrion opts for the more peaceful approach, whereas Daenerys, she is more of a guns blazing, I'm the boss, I'm the badass, and you're just going to have to deal with it type of person. And I've noticed that about her character throughout the seasons. If you remember the first season, she was this fragile, almost weak being, and now she is a force, a force to be reckoned with. And that's what she does. She rides her dragon, and the dragons just get bigger and bigger, by the way, and that scene was awesome. And the dragons fly down and they just set all the ships ablaze. You would think by now that anybody that tries to mess with Daenerys would know that those dragons are going to come into play, and that's what they do. They're just badass. But the scene I liked even more was when Yara and Theon Greyjoy, they finally arrive in Westeros, and there's a real girl power type moment there. Yara is in a leadership type position, and Daenerys respects that, and so they agree to an alliance. And I'm really looking forward to seeing, what's to come with this alliance in the future. Okay, now let's talk about the battle scene. This really took up 75% of the episode, and boy did it deliver on so many ways. First off, Jon Snow and Ramsay, they meet on the field, and Ramsay tells Jon Snow, hey, this is the deal I got for you. If you don't like it, we're gonna kill your army because you're outmatched 2-1. And Jon Snow knows that Ramsay has recon, so he's really not thinking with his head, he's thinking more with his heart. And Sansa, she reasons with Jon, and she tells him, hey, Ramsay, he is a son of a bitch, and he is always 2 steps ahead. He knows what move you're gonna play. So then the next morning before the fight, Ramsay releases Recon, and I just saw this coming a mile away. I knew that Recon wasn't gonna make it. He was gonna kill him, and then he was gonna have Jon Snow where he wanted him. Because when you are emotional, you really don't have your wits about you. But this battle scene, this was better than most battle scenes we see in movies. It was really that great, and it was unique in the way it was filmed. It showed you kind of a different battle strategy than we normally see. Normally we see one army and another army, and they're going at each other, and there's fighting, and then one team wins. But this really showed that Ramsay is a strategist. I mean, the guy knows how to fight a battle. When you outnumber another army 2-1, you can use that to your advantage. And eventually in the battle, Jon Snow's army is completely surrounded by Ramsay's. And for a moment there, I thought Jon Snow's army was going to be dead. I mean, all hope was lost. And this is Game of Thrones, so you know that bad shit can really happen. And I loved how Jon Snow is literally being buried alive under people. But then Sansa comes to the rescue. She gets the Knights of the Vale, Littlefinger's army, and they come in and they just clean house. And I literally leaped off my couch during that scene. But the scene I think everybody leaped off their couch for was the final scene with Ramsay. Jon Snow just pummels Ramsay's face almost into the ground. And this is what everybody has wanted. This character is arguably the most evil character on Game of Thrones since Joffrey. And he's so evil that someone as innocent as Sansa at the end of the episode is just staring at him through the bars, and all she wants is for him to die. And she really wants him to suffer. And it was really gruesome, bloody scene with the dogs, Ramsay's own dogs, eating his face off. So guys, that's my recap for the Battle of the Bastards. What a great episode. If you ever have any doubts about this show, forget it. It's Game of Thrones. It's amazing for a reason. People watch this show for a reason. It's so great. I personally think Game of Thrones is even 10 times better than The Walking Dead. But I know some people might throw stuff at me for that, because I know people love The Walking Dead, but really it doesn't hold a candle in my opinion. Anyway guys, that is my recap. What did you guys think of this episode? Looking forward to hearing from you. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and Drumdum out.